Hi everyone, this is EPGD, Attorneys at Law. I'm Eric Rodebois, and what I want to talk to you guys today about is letters matter. Words matter. Now that sounds kind of silly and it sounds kind of funny, but let me show you something. So this is my chart for how I view the world. It's okay, I have it memorized. So I have this client, and a couple years ago the client created his own company. No help, no assistance, nobody was there to guide him. He didn't talk to an accountant. He had a friend who kind of knew that you could go onto the internet and you could go onto, in Florida, it's called sunbiz.org. I'll even write it down for all of you. It says www.sunbiz.org, and you can go there and you can do a lot of cool things for companies. You can renew your company every year. You can upload files. You can pay fees. So he creates the company with the assistance of a friend of his. And the friend of his says, hey, listen, why don't we both put our names on the company on Sunbiz, but don't worry, it's not ownership, okay? Because my guy was 100% owner. The other guy was 0% owner, okay? But the other guy's helping him. So the guy says, listen, let's put my name on there. That way it'll be easier. If you're out of town and you want me to run to the bank or help you out or something, it'll be easier, okay? So they create the company. They barely speak English. And they create this company, and next to their names, and you can look at it right now, you can literally go onto the internet and look, A-M-B-R. That's all it says. It's initials right next to their name. Let's say the name's Bob Smith. It says A-M-B-R, comma, Bob Smith. Okay? Now, I said, who picked those letters? He goes, I don't know. I go, did you think about it when you did it? He goes, no, I just thought it was like the automatic thing. I said, okay. Here's what's wrong. This stands for authorized member. This story is about an LLC. LLCs have members and managers. Corporations have shareholders, officers, and directors, different vocabulary. Remember, words matter. So look, member is legal word for owner. That means owner. So the two guys were named like Bob and Tom. Right? So it said Bob, A-M-B-R, Tom, A-M-B-R. Now, in their private arrangement, the one guy said, listen, I'm 100% owner, you're 0%, but you're just helping me. Yeah, got it, got it. But then they wrote authorized member next to each other. Now, obviously, the story only goes one way, right? Eventually, they got into a fight. Eventually, the police were called. There was a fist fight. They got broken up. 2 years later, the one guy who was supposed to have 0% filed a lawsuit. And his lawsuit says, hey, where's my money? I'm 50% owner of your company. And my guy's like, what are you talking about? I was always 100%. But of course, they have nothing in writing. They have no contracts. They have no emails. There's nothing to prove either person's story. It's he said versus he said. That's all it is. And the only writing we have is on the official state of Florida website where you look up their company and it says authorized member. Now, it doesn't say authorized member. It says AMBR, but that's what that means. The word member means that the guy that had 0% actually had something. He was a percent of something, like he had an ownership. It doesn't say 50%, it doesn't say 1%, but now, unfortunately for my guy, we're in the middle of a fight. Couple other words, MGR. MGR means manager. Manager is not an owner. Manager is the person who runs the company. Now, most of the time for a company, it's going to say MGR, and you just kind of assume, oh, that guy is also the owner. So let's say I own a company, an LLC, and I'm going to be MGR. Now, it's vague. That does not prove that I'm an owner, but more likely than not, if you see a single member LLC and somebody's name next to it has MGR, then that probably also means that they are an MBR, member manager. Manager just means running the company. Member means actually owning the company. So in my guy's lawsuit, he didn't know what he was doing. I'm sure it was an innocent mistake. He wrote AMBR. He has no contracts, because who has a contract by themselves, right? And actually the point of this story really is, I don't care if you're a single member LLC, you should put it in writing, so that way 5 years later, your friend who was sitting in the room with you, who was helping you out, who said that he was just doing you a favor, doesn't come along and say, hey, wait a minute, I'm part owner of that company. Because now we've got a lawsuit, and lawsuits are expensive. So for the cost of a few dollars, or maybe a few $100s, or maybe even a few $1,000s of getting all the proper corporate documentation that would say, my guy 100%, the other guy's just here to help, and everyone signs it. Then 5 years later, when we have the lawsuit, my guy can pull out the contract and say, wait a minute, that was a mistake. What it meant to say was that, I didn't know any better, and either way, we both signed a contract that said you have 0. So the moral of the story, ladies and gentlemen, is words matter, put it in writing, and be careful when you try and do stuff by yourself. Thank you very much. Eric Rodewalk.